Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Clayton Collins coming to you live from the Housing Wire HQ in Dallas, Texas. And this is our fourth segment of the day on Facebook Live. A lot of live video. Most of it's gone pretty smooth. We had one outage, so thank you for sticking with us through that. We started the day with Cuberto and Kubi and Christian Hernandez from Mara's Mortgage out in Orange County, and then had the team Tyler and Carrie from NXT, and then we just spoke with Katie from Arrive, and now here we are for another segment. We have my host.
I'll take it.
Mark, thank you very much, the president of AIM. And our guest for this segment is John Gibson from Caliber Home Loans. John, welcome.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. This is awesome.
Would love to hear a little more about who you are. What's your background? What do you do?
Yeah, so first let me start off. Happy National Mortgage Broker Day, right? This is awesome.
Yeah.
So give you a little background.
Blow out the candles.
Right?
It's like an annual birthday.
I knew there's treats here somewhere, right? Yeah, annual birthday. That's funny. I'm John Gibson, Caliber Home Loans, EVP, run the channel. But a little background, I've been in wholesale for 24 years. So I started straight out of college. It's the only thing I've ever done. And minus a stint as a retail loan officer for about a year, I went right into what I call the good side, which was wholesale. And I've been in TPO ever since. And I've been at Caliber 8 years now. I started off at Caliber as one of our local regional managers in the Mid-Atlantic, grew the territory, and have just been able to grow with inside Caliber, which is one of the strengths that we have as a company with the career opportunities that we have at Caliber and being able to grow and develop. So I've done that, and now, for the last year, I've run the whole channel.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, cool. Well, I'm sure Mark has a few questions, but I mean, kind of with a topic that I really want to dig into today, partially for my personal interest, and I also think it's going to be really interesting for our listeners.
Yeah.
I'm just dying to know more about your account exec strategy and how Caliber AEs work with your clients, brokers, and really kind of starting maybe not so much like the Caliber strategy, but you as a leader and leading the TPO channel. What do you care about with your AEs and how, and when you give them a mission, what is that? How are they supposed to work with their clients?
For sure. So a couple answers to that, right? So there's a couple things we did. So we hit the reset button on wholesale about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Right? Probably about 5-6 years ago for the most part. And really, we're an organization of about what I would call about 120 AEs spread out throughout the entire country. And our simple philosophy has always been that it's our job to support our business partners.
Okay.
And my AEs wear a lot of different hats, right? They're not just somebody that's out there quoting a rate and quoting a price and doing what you used to do in the old days or milk runs. Our AEs are the experts in the marketplace, and I'm very fortunate. I believe, and I will argue this with anybody, from top to bottom, we have some of if we don't have the best sales force, I'd like somebody to show me I have a better sales force. So what our strategy was a while ago was go out and hire the tenured people, the successful people, the experienced people that have the relationships, right? So they can port their client relationships to Caliber. And then it was our job to support them in every way possible that they need. And that's how we've actually grown from somebody doing, I remember when I first started, we were doing like $40 million a month, and we would sit in a room, and if we broke $40 million, we were high-fiving each other, right? And now, this month, we're going to do just over $2 billion.
Wow.
And that's, and to me, the important thing about that is not that we're doing $2 billion, it's the fact that I'm supporting my business partners in their efforts to help their clients. And in some instances, these clients are lifelong friends, right? They did a first transaction with them for 10, 15 years ago, and every time they've had a need for financing, they've come back to our business partner. And when our business partner trusts us with that referral source, to us, that's the validation of what we do on a daily basis. So that would be the first answer, right? So what we did a long time ago was we weren't going to go out and hire people green and teach them the industry. We wanted to go out and get seasoned professionals that have a track record, have the name recognition in the marketplace, have the account base, and then bring them on board the Caliber, which is the first thing we did when we built the channel.
Now that you've hit that scale, has your hiring strategy changed at all, where you're willing to hire green and teach from the industry? You're still looking for that highly experienced AE who can port in more relationships?
Yeah, it's funny. What we've done is we've taken a little bit of approach now where, now it's about continuing to throw resources at our account executive, right? So while we're hiring and we take advantage of opportunities where they may exist, we're not where we were 5 or 6 years ago when we only had 20 A's, right? We're, like you heard me say earlier, we're roughly plus or minus around 120 A's today. And really what our main focus over the last 2 years is really just taking those AEs and those relationships that they have with our business partners, and how do I support that so that they can do so our business partners can do more volume, and if I'm supporting that correctly, then that volume percentage of that market share is going to come to Caliber. So really what we've done over the last 2 years is more invest in the individuals that we have with training, technology, some of the resources that we provide to them. We've hired some positions, which we'll probably get into here in a second, that helps support the AE and in turn really helps support the business partner.
Okay. So instead of just a pure focus on, hey, we want to keep growing, so we hire more AEs, now you're building out layers. So you kind of gave me the lead into positions you're hiring for. So let's hear more. What is that?
So look, here's one of the things we did, right? And this has been extremely successful. We started this, I'd say, got if my memory's right, probably about 18 months ago. And what we did, I have, just from a structure standpoint, right, those AEs are supported by 6 what we call divisional managers throughout the country, right? It's all geographic located. And what we realized quickly was, while we have a tremendous operations staff, right, we have 5 ops sites, they are out in the field, in with our mortgage brokers, right? So our underwriters actually work remotely out of their house. So we have mortgage brokers that actually live next to in the same neighborhood of some of our underwriters. Awesome. So they're literally out in the field, and we believe in that decentralized model where they're out in the field and in the local marketplaces, in the trenches with our business partners, so to speak. But one thing we did is we realized that, like, look, while we have processors and underwriters and registration analysts and closers and site leads, we needed to have another layer of support for our business partner. So, for example, when the business partner's having an issue with our H2O, hopefully as we move forward, we won't have that issue anymore, as we're now partnered with Arrive and we've launched, and the goal is to really get our business partners out of our system and into Arrive, and then that way they're never interacting inside our system again. But obviously that's a work in progress, and it's going to take time to migrate to get to that market share. So in the interim, simple things like a brand new broker comes on board, who trains them on submitting the loan via our system or now via Arrive? And along the process, when they have issues and they have hiccups in the process, who do they go to when they have pricing issues? So what we've tried to do is take it out of the hands of the AE necessarily, because that's the one person that was doing all of that. And we created a divisional business support manager role. Okay. And each division has one, and that is basically like an inside contact for our business partners, and they are the masters of everything. So you're having an issue uploading the loan, you can't figure out how to get past this fail or whatever the case may be, boom, you call the business development specialist, and they're there right on the spot.
Do the brokers have direct line?
They have direct access to
specialist?
Yep, okay, direct access to them.
So if I'm having trouble uploading a file, I'm not even going to my account. I'm going straight to the specialist?
You don't have to. You can go to your AE. Look, our AEs are experts, right? But they also have 20, 30, 40 accounts, and they have pipelines that have quadrupled in the last 60, 90 days, right? So again, it's just another layer of support to our business partner, because the one thing we know, right, is time is money. At the end of the day, if I'm trying to upload a loan, I have a hiccup and I try to fix it, and all of a sudden I got to wait for somebody to call me back 30, 45, 50, an hour, I know that potentially there's a possibility I'm going to lose that business from my business partner, and does that impact my relationship with them going forward? So we created that position. I mean, hell, it's something as simple as when we get a brand new broker approved, they'll fly out to the marketplace and go sit in the account with them for the first couple submissions. So they're right over their shoulder going, hey, you know what? Let us be on the spot. So in case while you're getting ready to do that. So again, it gets a little bit more challenging when volume has exploded like it has, but that's the type of stuff we're doing. And again, I think somebody had asked me before I came in, like, what do we do to support our AEs? That's one of the things we do, right? We listen to our AEs. I think it's one of the things I'm most proud about over the last 8 years that I've been here, is I will literally tell you my business partners and my AEs have continued to build the wholesale channel at Caliber. We listen, right? Like we have our clients come in for quarterly meetings. We just started that this year. And we've already implemented feedback from those meetings on changes of things they'd like to see in process and procedure where we can. So I think that's one of the things I'm most proud about over the last 8 years is, and I say it with all sincerity, our business partners have told us what they've needed over the last 8 years. And look, we can't be all things to everybody, right? And there are certain things that I can't do. But I think one of the things we do well is we take that feedback, we internalize it, we figure out how we can support it. If we do it, if we can, then we implement it. If we can't, we at least come up with an alternative if we have one. And then the flip side is, if I have to go back to the business partner and say, hey, that's just not something we're able to do, we're at least being honest, and they know that they're part of this partnership. And that's the thing that, to me, the feedback I get from a lot of our brokers when I go around the country and when they've come in is how we actually genuinely treat them like a partner. They're not just somebody that's giving us loans. They're actually a partner. They've helped us build our business, and in turn, we play a role in their success, and that's something that we value a lot at Caliber.
And I don't think was just your company, but it seemed like years ago that's how it was. We were partners before,
right?
You know what I mean? And,
right.
And I'm glad that this whole thing has flipped.
Yep.
It used to be you were my, or whoever was my wholesale lender, and I just comply with them. You know what I mean? But this, really, that's how it used to be, and now this whole thing has flipped where it's everyone in the wholesale channel, for the most part, are trying to listen to us because it's come to a realization: the more successful we are, the more successful you guys are going to be.
Yeah, somewhere along the line it flipped. And like I said, I've been doing this for 24 years, and somewhere along the line there was this stigmatism about a broker originated loan or a third party originated loan, and then it became more of a just feed the machine, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a way for us to acquire more loans, and then we can feed the machine. And now it's gotten back. Like I remember when I first started in the early 90s, that's what it was, right? Like you walk through the door. I remember days, it was still loans were being faxed across the fax machine.
Or FedEx.
I mean, I started a company, I had to drive every property and take a picture. They actually issued us a Polaroid camera, and when I actually submitted a loan, I had to take a picture of the property and submit it with the file. So to your point, I think we've gotten back to where it really always should have been, which is a true partnership. Look, we know one thing, and we live by this, which is our business partners have choices, right? We're not the only person they're signed up with. So if I'm not doing my job, they're going to tell me. And they might not physically give me that communication, but how I can see it is if they turn us off.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that, again, you've heard me say it, I'm most proud about is we've built this Caliber wholesale department because of our business partners, because of the feedback, and we'll continue to do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, and I've said it before, I'm a broker.
Yeah.
I know how I view my AE,
Uh-huh.
all right, with all my wholesale channels. How do your AEs view the broker?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, so it's funny. So the way I've always viewed it, and I've this is only a third company I've ever worked for, and I think they view it too. Like, to me, and to a lot of my good top producing AEs, I tell them the same thing, and they live by this. They're really self-employed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I were John Gibson and AE at Caliber, it's almost as if I own Gibson Lending, and I have, let's say I have 20 accounts, and each one has 3 licensed LOs.
And they're in the field, right?
Yeah, our AEs are in the field. They're walking through the doors.
Work from home and then in their car. So it actually could really feel like they're...
Well, and that's a good point. Like all of our AEs are remote.
Yep.
We don't have any bricks and mortar except for the ops sites, and they're located in 5 states. So if you're in one of those states, you could physically go into an office. But for the most part, all of our AEs are remote. They are in the community with their mortgage broker. Hell, sometimes they're at the baseball games or the softball games. They're there with them. And yeah, you're right. I mean, they're working from home. They're going to visit clients. So, but I've always said an AE, and especially this is how we treat them, they're really self-employed, and they have a partnership with what I'll call their sales force that can utilize their products and service, right? In this case, we do mortgages. Yep. So I've always looked at it as, hey, it's my job to support them. It's Caliber's job to give them the best place that they can be most beneficial and most impactful for their business partners. And if they do that right, through education and everything else and supporting them in various ways, then we get the business. They get the business. Right. So it's really interesting. It's an interesting time in this space right now. The education, I think the education level, and I say not like necessarily high school, college, but just in the industry, the wherewithal and the knowledge of the LO is the mortgage broker is so much different than it was, 5, 10, 15 years ago. And I think the individuals, the quality of the individuals that are in the space today is so much different than it was 5 or 10 years ago.
I agree.
Even during the refi booms, right? Like I always used to joke around, like these refi booms would hit, and you'd see mortgage owners of mortgage broker shops just hire people to dial for dollars, right? Just here's the we ran this ad. You're going to get this many phone calls. Go. Here's your telephone. Go. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Right. That's and that's part of that terrible stigmatism that's still out there about. Or is changing about mortgage brokers and what they provide. It's such an invaluable service that the mortgage broker has always done and has never really gotten the credit that they deserve, which they're now getting thanks to what you guys are doing over at AIM. And literally, I mean, it's so energetic to see the renaissance that's going on right now. And look, nobody works as hard as a mortgage broker to do what's right by their client and by their borrower and by their lifelong relationship, and that's what makes this channel great, right? They have the ability, and they're not locked into working for one company with one product, one service, dependent on one monoline, kind of this is how we do business. Using a broker is the best option. It always has been.
I agree.
There you go.
I
Right?
agree.
So, man, it's certainly one of your better options out there. And to me, what we're doing, and you see the market share, and you see what it's projecting, and you see where it's projecting to next year. I mean, we've just scratched the surface of what this is going to look like, and it's tremendous to be part of.
So one of my goals for these conversations today is make sure that every single interview we leave with something that is really powerful, that the brokers, originators can take back to the business and be more impactful.
Yeah.
So to kind of prep for that question, I want to better understand the kind of the partner or broker list that you support at Caliber. Is it a pretty like long tail of super high producers, and it kind of goes down, or is it pretty like even across production by your brokers? I'm just trying to get a feel for like how differentiated like the top brokers are inside of the portfolio.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and I think it's that same 80-20 rule that you apply to sales, right? I would say if you were looking at it, there's probably a good 20 to 25% of our approved base that does easily, 50% of our production on a monthly basis.
That's kind of what I've expected. Yeah. So like that 20% is doing 80% of the volume. Yeah. What are those brokers and those originators doing that you wish the other 80% knew? Like how are they better running their business, and then also how are they better leveraging their account exec to be more impactful or more productive, effective, efficient, like whatever it is?
Yeah, so I think some of it does go down to the account executive, right?
Okay.
So when I'm stacking myself, meaning Caliber, up against some of our competitors, my account executive walking through that door for those clients, I would tell you hands down better than anybody else, right? So they've worked with them for a while. They're a trusted resource. They've come through on repetitive and numerous occasions. So there is that relationship there, and the AE actually treats it as if they work for the business partner, right? At the end of the day. So I think there's that mentality, and I certainly think ops plays a part in it as well. I think our ops team, if I would line ours up against anybody's from a standpoint of customer service, interaction with the business partner, we're somebody that we implore our operations team, especially our underwriters, to reach out and communicate with our business partners, where I know a lot of entities or a lot of our competitors don't gravitate to that. They'd rather just have the underwriters kind of siloed and working. That's not who we are. In our mind, if I can reach out and solve something on a first ask, that stops the chain of emails and reapprovals or recondition over and over again. So we do that. Profile those clients, God, I will tell you, the day of the mortgage broker shop that's like the owner and layers of management and like 20 LOs underneath it, obviously they still exist in some instances, but the lion's share of our clients are more your smaller, I don't want to say one-man shops, but maybe 1 to 3, 4, 5-man shops. And I think a lot of those individuals have just been entrenched in the marketplace for a very long time. And look, I think they take this, it is their profession, right? And it has been for a very long time. They don't just live in the refi booms. And I think what a lot of these clients have done, and this would be a message I would give to anybody today, is while you're taking advantage of the environment that we're in, the tendency tends to be forgetting about all the other things you need to be doing to continue to grow your business, which is, how do I keep building my referral sources? How do I keep growing my purchase book of business? Because while this is good and we need to do what we're doing right now to service our clients and our past clients, right? Because there's an opportunity for them to save money. At some point, the good ones always know how to time manage, and they always know how to figure out, while I'm taking care of my existing client base and doing every refi I can, I'm never going to lose sight of the fact that I need to continue to ingest new referral sources into my network, as well as that allows me to bring new clients into my overall portfolio.
So don't have your best month ever and then get 2 loans the next month.
Yes, it's that cycle, right? Like how many times have we seen it? Like you own your own shop, right? How many times have you seen where you bring an LO on board and boom, they go from funding 1 loan or 2 loans to, oh my God, they did 10 or 12 and they got a pipeline of 15 loans and all of a sudden they're locked on their pipeline. And then when it funds out, they're back to square one. And it's like, oh my God, I got to go this, right? It's this curve. So I would tell you what I've seen, especially at Caliber, is the ones that are the high producers for us never lose sight of their core values that would have built their business to where it's at today. And don't get me wrong, I mean, you should be in touch with your past clients right now. This is the time where that checkup call should be happening. hey, how's everything going? Yep. What's going on with your finances? Hey, have you paid attention? Rates have done this. Maybe we could help you out. College education, pull cash out, whatever the case may be. You need to do all that stuff, right?
Yep.
But I think it's when you get, I hate to use this word, but when you get distracted by that and you stop doing what's built that business to this point, is when you lose a little bit of sight, and it becomes, to your point, a little bit of a yo-yo up and down, and you're always playing catch up at that point.
Absolutely.
Are any of the originators that you're seeing that are really good at time management, managing that cycle, doing anything different in terms of technology or process or staffing? Like, what are some best practices you're seeing of people who just like knock it out of the park each and every month with time management and never lose track of that, like, refill the pipe mindset?
Yeah, it's interesting. Our last, we call it our Partner Connect program. The last one we just had about a month ago. And when we got to the second day, we do a really good round table with everybody there. And we had some fun with it, kind of played a game and got people talking. But that was one of the bigger topics, was from a outreach campaign, social media, CRM type of thing. What are people using to stay in contact with their past clients and generate new business? And there's the ones that were in that room that were, top producers for us. You can tell, varying CRMs that they use, varying platforms, different messages of how they can get in touch in front of people. And there's so many different ways to do it. But you could tell the ones, to your point, that really wanted to pick their brain, right? Like, hey, what are you doing about this? And the feedback that they gave was great. And we followed up with some, follow-up material for them as far as like introductions to some, marketing vendors and things like that. So it's a lot of what you guys are trying to do too, right? With that whole all-in-one encompassing platform. And that's been so needed for so long. And now here we are, and it's just continuing to evolve, right? So I would tell you that's one of the biggest things I see where they're not distracted is either they're doing one of two things. They're using some type of CRM tool to stay in touch with the past client base in this marketplace that we're in today while they're still doing their core activities, or they figured out a way to continue to market to their core activities through technology while they're actually dialing themselves to reach out to their past client base.
Yeah, so on that message of collaboration, I encourage everyone watching right now, if there's any questions you're trying to figure out, comment in the Facebook feed. I think there's a few other brokers, originators, wholesale AEs who'd love to help you out and point you in a direction, be more efficient in your market. Let's get some Facebook comments going here. That's why we're doing live.
Yeah,
right.
That's why it's live, right?
Yeah,
that's why you have hiccups, like whatever you were talking about. I wasn't here for it, but hey, that's what happens when it's live, right? This has been great. What else?
Mark, anything else you want to hit on?
No, I'll just say thank you. I know yourself and Caliber have always been a great supporter of AIM, and we appreciate that partnership, and we look forward to future stuff. And I just want to say thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, no, hey, I would leave you with one thing if I can, but I appreciate you guys having me in today. And look, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and you guys are tremendous in the industry. So I appreciate what you guys do to continue to support the
Happy to
evolution.
have you as neighbors out here.
Yeah, I know, right? We're right up the road. We're like 5 minutes away. You ever need anything, call me.
We can look out the window and
we can almost see
literally
each other, right?
see billions of dollars in servicing and origination volume. It's
everywhere.
This is I don't love our office in Las Colinas, but I love being like one of the centers of the mortgage ecosystem.
Exactly.
It's nice.
And you guys, it's just a tremendous job what you're doing. We look to continue our collaboration together and continue to support that in the future. So I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done. The one thing I would leave you with, though, is for the brokers that are watching or who may see this, right? Like, one of the things we listened to a long time ago, and you guys played a part in this, was, look, we service over 94% of the loans we do, right? So one of the things originally that you guys were part of, which was like, how friendly are you? Are you a good business partner to your brokers? And in the last year and a half, we have completely revamped our philosophy and our mindset to where we've created our Reconnect program. Mm-hmm. And again, people have heard me say this, we've passed back over 50,000 borrowers back to their original broker. It's resulted in numerous loans. I'm going to have more data for everybody on that here shortly. But just continue. If you haven't worked with Caliber, or you're approved and you haven't done any business with us, or you're seeing this for the first time and you haven't done business with Caliber, we truly are a business. We view this as a partnership like we've talked about already. And we are passing back borrowers, to the tunes of 50, 75, 100 a day. We just rolled out some new modeling that's passing back refinance customers. We're passing back customers that may be in the money from a standpoint of potentially from a cash out or doing a refinance transaction. Not to mention all the other stuff we're doing with Inside Reconnect. And then look, even when a borrower calls in, because we do service over 94% of the loans we do, if they inquire asking about financing, we pump the brakes. We check to see if it was originated by a broker. If it was originated by the broker, we pass that customer back to the broker. And now we've evolved to, we're even putting some of that information in our system inside H2O so that when we give that back to the broker, they can see the information that was already discussed with the borrower, and it makes that transaction a little bit smoother on the front end. So we will continue to evolve that. Obviously, you guys, Anthony, you guys have been just a tremendous assistance in helping us build that program and move forward. But man, if you're a broker out there and you haven't seen that alone, I think, speaks volume to for Caliber and our viewpoint about our partnership with our business partners.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. John Gibson, Caliber Home Loans. I'm Clayton Collins, CEO of Housing Wire. Again, we're coming to you live from the Housing Wire HQ in Dallas, Texas. Actually, we're in Irving. We talked about
Irving.
it a little bit. We're in Irving.
Yep.
But coming to you live from Texas. Thank you for tuning in to another segment of our live feed day for National Mortgage Brokers Day. What's our hashtag again, Mark? Can you remind us?
Hashtag.
Yes, hashtag NMBD, sorry.
National Mortgage.
That's
Hashtag
NMBD.
NMBD. Sorry, that's a tongue twister.
It really
It
is.
is. Yeah, we
It
had a lot
is.
of tongue
It
twisters
looks
today.
good. It looks good on paper.
It looks good on paper.
Progress
The
over
hashtag.
profits. Was that the next
Right, yes,
one
exactly.
that we couldn't, or profits over progress? But we have another segment coming to you in just a few minutes. One of our Housing Wire reporters is meeting with one of the top producing brokers in the North Texas area, and we're really looking forward to that one. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with you.